Hello and welcome back to the Anti-Hustle Club channel. Today we're going to be talking about a couple of different things. So I found that one of the things that can get us so overwhelmed and stressed and just not in a good place is focusing on the things that we can and cannot control. So I found that the work that I've done with clients in the past, one thing that keeps coming up for people that they really struggle with is letting go of the things that they cannot control. This feels very raw and real to me right now because yesterday I had my phone stolen. I was sitting doing some work in a coffee shop, like garden area. A guy came up to me, asked me for some money, put a piece of paper down on the table, unbeknownst to me, picked up my phone as he took away the paper and then left. It was a few minutes before I even realised what had happened. And look, it was a shit situation, but the work that I've done to really focus on things that you can and cannot control really helped me in that situation to reframe, refocus, and just really identify what was important in that situation. So the idea of the circle of control and focusing on the things that you can and cannot control. So this concept comes from a guy called Covey, and he talks about it a lot in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's an old book. I say old, like it's from the 70s, which is still like, oh my God, that's like 50 years ago. Wow. I feel old. So yeah, it's a book from the 70s, but it's still very relevant today. And one of the things that he really focuses on is talking about the circle of control, the circle of concern. He identified that we spend a lot of time concentrating on the things that we cannot control or have no control over, rather than focusing on the things that we actually have control over. With this whole idea, the concept is that the more time that you spend focusing on the things that you cannot control, it means that circle is going to get bigger and bigger, which means that your actual circle of control is going to get smaller. So you're focusing on the things that you cannot do anything about. It's a very fixed mindset. Things aren't going to change. This is just always going to happen to me. Nothing's going to be different. It's really focused on that mindset. The idea of focusing on the things that you can control really means that if you're focusing on those things, the circle of concern is just going to get smaller because you're focused on the things that you can actually make a difference with. And that is huge. It's very much a growth mindset, which is something we will get into on this channel for sure. But it's something really to consider and think about when things are happening throughout your day that are causing you stress and overwhelm, and you're kind of been pulled into all of these different scenarios and situations. It's really key to think about this. Yesterday, when my phone got stolen, the first thing was absolute like sheer ADHD panic of like, have I just thought I've lost something and really I've just put it somewhere safe that I don't know where I've put it. So once I'd searched through all of my things pretty quickly, I definitely then realised the penny dropped and I realised that this man had stolen my phone. Now, there are things that I can control in that situation and things that I can't. So the things that I can control is making sure that my credit cards were taken off my Apple Pay, that I rung the bank and spoke to those people. I tried to ring the phone was switched off because he was underground. I did all of these things to start with. I then went to the police station and reported it. I got a crime incident number. I did all of these things knowing that this is things that I can control in this situation. I can't run after him. I can't find him. I don't know what I would do if I got to him. So this was the path that I had to take. Now, obviously, I'm frustrated in this situation. I'm getting stressed. I'm a bit upset. But I know that isn't going to help me move forward with this situation. And I met a really nice guy called Elton, who said, look, use my phone. Like, he'll let me use his phone, which is great. And just made me realise that there are still some nice people in this world. And this is a situation that's happened. These are the cards that I've been dealt, but how can I deal with it? And really try to work on my mindset throughout the day to make sure that I'd focused in the right way. And it wasn't me trying to just pretend it never happened, but it was really about me focusing on what I could control in the situation, what was out of my control, and then trying to not think about the things that are out of my control. So I'd done everything within my circle to make sure that I could have the outcome that I want, which is to get my phone returned. And then now I just have to be at peace with the fact that I've done everything I can and I can't let it control the rest of my day, week, month. Yes, it's a shit thing that happened, but it doesn't have to define the rest of the day. It doesn't have to define what's happened for the rest of the week. It doesn't need to impact everything else. And I realise that I'm coming from this from a very privileged position of the fact that I had another phone at home that I was about to resell, so I had that phone there, and hopefully I've got business insurance as well, so I should be able to get that covered. So I know that, yes, I'm speaking about this from a very privileged position, the fact that it was more of an inconvenience than anything else. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it in the frame of, this is something that was completely out of my control that happened. What could I have done differently? I can think about that for next time, but it was really about focusing on the elements that I could control in the situation and the things that I couldn't. So there was no point me getting super upset, angry, annoyed. There was no point me running after him or following him, even though I can see him on Find My iPhone, which is very frustrating. Like, all of those things are not going to add any value to the situation and not going to be able to help the situation anyway. So it's about focusing on what you can control. So that in a nutshell is just getting you to think in a different way about when situations do come up and situations do happen, what can you do differently to make sure that you're focusing on the things that you can control rather than the things that you can't. I definitely would recommend going and have a look at Stephen Covey's book. I've put a link in the notes below for you to have a look and find out more, so please go and do that. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.
Up to me, stop